Hello, and welcome back to Searching for Strange, the show where we deep dive your favorite internet mysteries. This week I'm joined by Katie. Katie, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I haven't talked to you in so long. It's been a while.
I know it has been
Um,
quite some time.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. You know what? I'm just listen. This whole series, I love it. It's okay. I love these weird, obscure internet mysteries, internet sagas. These stories that people come up with. And I'm really excited to talk about this one. I'm so glad that you brought it up. What is your history with this story? Is this something you came across organically? Were you a 4chaner, or is this something you just kind of heard through the internet mysteries grapevine?
So, I actually when trying to come up with ideas for this show, I was like, let's see what I can find. Let's go look at top internet mysteries. And this was one of them, and I went down a rabbit hole, and I'm still not out of it because this is insane. And I don't know if it's real or not,
Yeah.
but
Um,
it's certainly something.
Definitely horrifying if it's real.
Right?
You know, but this is kind of a. I mean, I hate to say it. This is definitely going to be a vanilla version of more topics that you might eventually find on this series.
Oh yeah.
Um, because there are things like this that happen. So, before we kind of get into the specifics of the story, this whole thing originated on 4chan, right? It's strictly a 4chan tale. 4chan is kind of known for this type of thing. Like,
4chan is known for being like the really gross part of the internet.
yeah, it is. And, it's interesting because, like, 4chan users have done some of the absolute most vile, terrible things that you can think of, but they've also done some of the best, most wholesome things that you can think of,
It
which
is
makes it
it is a turkey
confusing.
shoot on what you're gonna find on 4chan.
Right. And so, I mean, people definitely have their feelings about it, but these types of morbid posts that imply that something terrible has happened to somebody in the real world. Again, this is not something that is a stranger to 4chan. We have seen people who have murdered people and posted pictures of their bodies on 4chan. Like, that seems to happen a lot. We'll probably talk about a lot of them. Um, but like I said, this one is a lot more vanilla compared to some of those stories. So I feel like it's a really good start for whatever reason. If you are somebody who's not familiar with 4chan and the type of stuff that you can find on it, if you're not generally familiar with internet mysteries, I think that this is an easy softball topic to kind of have you understand the types of things eventually we'll talk about on the show and how, what that can look like. So,
Right. And also, if you're someone who is not is not someone who looks at 4chan, and not someone or and someone who may be like squeamish, don't go on 4chan. Just
don't,
don't.
yeah, just don't even go there. It's,
Like
we
you
could.
you got to have some sort of brawn in order to go and look through the posts that are on 4chan.
Absolutely. It can be devastating sometimes. There's no filter over there. So,
Yeah, it
it's
can be
not
pretty
like
traumatizing.
you're not gonna get the pop-up like you get on Facebook, right? That's like, oh, we're hiding this photo for you. It's graphic.
Yeah, nah, there's no hiding nothing.
No. So, I mean, trigger warning on this whole entire series in general, but trigger warning for this episode, even though it does get kind of gruesome. It's not the worst thing in the world, so your mileage may vary, I suppose. We'll see. We'll get into it. For people that don't know what 4chan is, 4chan is basically a forum, right? I mean,
It's
is
like
it really?
Reddit.
Yeah, it's like ancient Reddit. Um, it Reddit before it was Reddit. So, I mean, you have all these different topical boards that you can go on to depending on what you're into, right? If you want to go on cute cats, you're going to go to r/slash cute cats or whatever, and then under that, you'll find various posts of people and their cute cats. I still, again, if you're a squeamish person, still wouldn't chance going on the cute cats 4chan?
Because you may not find cute cats there.
Because that's the type of people that they are there.
Yeah.
Um, but just using it as an example. So one board that they have is it's r/b. And I don't know why it's called that. Somebody else that spends a lot of time there probably does. But what it means is random. And, B is known for having a lot of, it could be anything, right? It is random gore or spiciness or nothing, right? I mean, whatever it is that you want it to
It's
be,
literally random.
it's literally random. And, but it has had a lot of controversy surrounding it. And this is where this story starts. So back in sometime in April of 2013, I believe it was we believe it's April 24th now because of what transpires, but an anonymous person comes on and they make a mysterious post. So they post a picture of coordinates, okay, and they are trying to get people to go to this specific spot. And alongside of their coordinates, they had posted, by this rubble, your prize awaits, Tennessee. Park nearby and walk to this point for the secret. It's under plastic at this point. Good luck. Now, the coordinates were located in, I think it's Elizabethton? Elizabethton?
Yes.
Is that
Yes,
right?
Elizabethton, Tennessee. And when they said by the rubble your prize awaits, Tennessee, they also used a slur. So clearly,
Oh.
we're not talking about the nicest of people.
What kind of slur? What does the slur start with? I don't have that. It's a slur.
So it was by the rubble, your prize awaits, Tennessee, FAGS, which is
Oh.
it is a slur against gay people.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a slur.
I personally don't use it, so that's why I
Me
spelled
neither.
it.
No, that's okay. That's what I expect. That's what I expected. Thank you. Um, I
But
did not
yeah,
realize,
otherwise everything
probably
else
because
was right.
I probably saw the screenshots that had it blurred out, which good for you, people on the internet. Um,
But I'm here the
but
I'm here to do that dirty work and find all of the bad stuff.
all the bad stuff. So again, this is not. I don't know if this. I don't believe this is the first time anything like this has ever been posted. It's definitely not the last. People
No,
on Reddit do stuff like this,
of course. And I
and
mean, a lot of it's usually to get attention, oh yeah, you can go do this thing, and then they get a whole bunch of people speculating on what they think it's going to be. Does anybody
right.
actually go there? No.
No, usually they don't. Well, and if they do, even so, like at that time, geocaching was a big deal, and
Yes. I think
so
it still is. I know people who still go geocaching.
oh man, I really, I've never done it. I want to,
So
but
do I.
I'm always afraid
Maybe I
that
should
this
come
is
out
going
and
to
we should go
happen.
geocaching.
But then this is going to happen to us. So I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I
Bring a
don't know.
friend. You should be safe.
That's true. At minimum, you
I'll
should
I'll
always
bring
be
my
with another
I'll bring my taser. We'll be fine.
smart. Yes. Well, I'll bring my bear mace.
There you go. You get your
Taser
bear
and
mace.
bear
I'll get my
mace.
taser. We'll go off on an adventure and see what happens.
Maybe we'll find a great prize. Um,
Oh dear.
so
Maybe
this
not this
wasn't
prize.
right. So this wasn't completely unusual, but it could go either way, right? It could be like something legitimate, or it could be a dead body.
Yeah,
This
a lot
was
of people were making fun of the post because they were
right.
like they were like, what is this, a bunch of people started guessing what it could be. Some people said dead body, some people said leprechaun, some people said dragon dildo. Like, I mean, honestly, if it was a dragon dildo, that'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool. Those things. I mean,
Those are expensive.
right? They are.
Ask me how I know this.
I mean, I don't know if I'd use it if I randomly
No.
found a dragon dildo. Is it packaged? But even
I
then,
right.
I don't know. But still, But still, listen, a dragon dildo is better than a full on dead body or whatever.
I'd be pretty excited about a leprechaun though.
Leprechaun would be cool. But yeah, obviously, the people on this post, like, they're not going to go there. They're like,
No.
yeah, no, thank you. But they're watching, right? They're on the post because because they're hopeful that somebody is going to go there. Um,
Exactly.
and as this post kind of goes along, the OP, right? The original
Yeah.
poster is kind of egging them on, and he's
Oh
saying
yeah.
really weird stuff, but not it at first, I mean, it's not friendly, but it's not particularly dangerous. It's still kind of troll, right?
Yeah, like at one point he goes, I'm saying he, but who knows if the person is
Sure.
a male or female or non-binary or whatever. I'm gonna stick with he for tonight. Um, so they're like, he's like, no one shall claim the prize. Time to try other websites. Um, a bunch of the sarcastic responses, he responds with like, "It is warm." No cops here. Smiley face emoji. Um, at like 10 o'clock at night, it says on April 24th, he goes, someone coming to claim the prize. Like, he's consistently egging people on, and it doesn't seem like anyone's actually biting and like
Right.
saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go look."
Yeah, they're like, "Nah," and then they're just kinda, I mean, the users are just kinda having fun with it, right? They're kind of
Yeah.
enjoying the show,
But he gets
because
increasingly dark though. Like, he posts a
right.
bunch more photos as well. He posts like several pictures of a plastic bag containing who knows what, and he posts pictures of like a dimly lit cellar, and it's scary. One
Yeah.
of the things that really stood out to me was uh the OP posts, "Little friend fly away, why is no one coming?" alongside a photo of what appeared to be a rotting hand. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what?
And it is, for any of this, I mean, if you're interested in seeing any of it, it's very well archived on the internet.
Oh yeah.
You can access these
Google
photos all you
search
want.
4chan. Google
Right.
search Google search Alex from 4chan and you'll find it easily.
Right, you'll find stuff. I mean, I believe the original poster's still up. But the hand is where this is where it really kind of took a turn, I believe, for everybody. Um,
Yeah.
because it was very much, is it a human hand? I mean, it kind of looks like that, but maybe not. It kind of almost looks more, it looks petrified rather than like rotting to me. Like, it looks, which I suppose could be a type of rot. Like, it kind of almost looks like wood, even. Like, I could buy that
Right.
being a prop, you know.
But I mean, I forget, in 2013 were we able to reverse image search? Like,
I
was
think
that were we able to do that?
probably just now trying to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that somebody would have. I don't know, when did they start? When did Catfish come out? I feel like they're the ones that made that popular.
Yeah. I God, I don't remember when we started being able to reverse image search, but that's the first thing I would have done, is reverse image search
Right.
that
Any of the
hand to be
photos.
like, is that, is this just something that someone's posting to post? Are they trying to get attention? Like,
Right. Now,
I don't know.
the one photo that he had did have, like, he had a little note with the date and time, and it was like, it was like 8 I don't, it said something on it like, "Come on and get the prize," or something.
Yeah.
But he had the date on it. And that's how we really kind of know when this happened. I mean, so obviously, like this person was somewhere taking photos, but was this a part of those photos? Realistically, the person could have like went to some strange abandoned location, took all these weird photos, even took a note with a date on it, right? And then, but it's not actually on that date. He could have done it like a week ago and planned all this.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, he posts the picture of the hand, and things kind of get interesting because this is again not unusual behavior for 4chan. Not strange at all for people to post the coordinates of a body or something like that, unfortunately. So people kind of got a little more suspicious of it. He had posted, I think, even more photos after that that were kind of potentially of other rotting things, but it's hard to tell what they are. And again, the hand, I mean, it could have been a raccoon hand.
Yeah,
Probably
you never
not.
know, but
But
probably not.
you know, who knows what it is? It's looks like a rotting hand. And it looks human, because it has a thumb. But again, who knows? So it kind of, like I said, kind of escalates from there, and this just kind of goes on for a while. Do you know how long he was posting for?
5 nights he was posting,
Okay.
and after 5 nights of them just like him just kind of being like, anyone gonna come and get the prize? Someone actually decides to go.
Yeah, someone took the
And
bait. Yeah.
this is where Alex comes in. This is Alex from Tennessee. He decided he was brave enough and had the time to travel to the OP's coordinates. And in a follow-up thread, he posts, Alex from TN here. I'm at location of creepy guy. Came early. And
And oh, go ahead.
oh, and so he fills the thread with photos of what he said was like a dirt basement containing a bunch of random objects, empty jars, wiring, bottles of pills, and the plastic bag that the OP had posted 5 days prior.
Yeah.
So he
He's
says,
he's there, and
yeah,
I mean, just as he's going, he is cataloging everything.
everything that he sees.
And taking photos of them. Now, I kind of want to like sidebar for a second, because one thing that I had heard, and I don't know how accurate it is, but I had heard that Alex actually went to this location not specifically because he had been watching the board on 4chan, but because the location is like right beside a Walmart, and he had like talked to some guy there that was like, "Oh, hey, are you on 4chan? Do you see this crazy thing about this, about right over there?" And again, I don't know, right? I don't know how true this is,
I don't
but
know how true that is either. I didn't see that in any of my
yeah,
research looking for this. Like,
right.
what?
And I didn't either. I didn't find a post where Alex himself is like, "Yeah, I was at Walmart. This guy was talking about it, so I went."
Yeah.
But that did pop up, and it's not with any type of regularity, but it did pop up a couple. So I watched a couple of videos on it, and it popped up a couple of times. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay, so I don't know where that rumor comes from, but that is one of the things that, again, Alex wasn't actually watching the board, but rather he was told about it organically in the wild by somebody at Walmart. Might have been a friend, might have been, who knows, a random guy. Could have been creepy guy. And that was kind of the implication there, was that maybe creepy guy was at the Walmart and was trying to like get somebody to go there to the location.
maybe creepy guy was the guy that talked to Alex.
Exactly. And was like, "Hey buddy, I see that you're wearing an anime shirt. Do you not that he I don't know if Alex was wearing an anime shirt, but it's like, "Hey,
Who knows?
do you get on 4chan? Do you hear about this thing that's happening right there across the street?"
Why do we automatically assume 4chan and anime?
That's a good question. Probably just because that's where I've seen a lot of the hentai at, is on 4chan.
That is true.
Um, so that's where my brain goes. Who knows? Who knows why he picked Alex? Who knows if that story is even true?
Right.
But that is like one origin that I've heard. And actually, if creepy guy, for lack of a better term, is the culprit here, and he's got bad intentions, that could be right. He tried to bait somebody off the internet to come. Nobody's coming, so now he has to go out and bait somebody out in the real world. And what better place to do it than the Walmart that's right there?
So
So
crazy.
anyway, so go ahead, continue with Alex and his findings.
So, according to Alex, the bag that the OP had posted was contained a mummified pelvis and a folded paper plate. And the paper plate, when unfolded, read, "Plate's a date, a very important date. You shouldn't have come. I lied." Ah!
Yeah. And
I
you
if I
know,
if I read that, I would have like I would have run. I would have run out of the freaking building. I would have been gone. I That is so scary, so scary in my mind. Like
right.
I'm literally here petting my dog as I read these facts because no,
Right, fuck all that. The paper plate had a hard drive attached to it,
it did.
and so he pockets the hard drive. And the mummified pelvis, is it, again, is it human? Is it animal? We don't
We
really
don't know.
know. But another thing that he also found which kind of more seemed like what the OP was referring to, because again the OP is kind of leaving clues about what the prize is. He's saying it's warm. He's mentioning that he's there with a friend, blah blah blah. Alex finds another plastic bag, and this is more like, well, like a Walmart bag, and opens it up to find like a wrapped up piece of foam. And in the foam is a live possum that is, being restrained inside of it. So, I mean, has this possum been tied up for 5 days,
Oh
staying in
my
this bag?
gosh.
Is that what OP was referring to when he's talking
Right?
about it?
Like, did you
It's a
decide
live
to give
animal.
somebody a live possum and like try to give somebody rabies? Like what's this plan going on, OP?
Right, like, what is happening? You just wanted to do it to be shocking? I mean, as
Like,
unfortunate as it is, animal torture is
is the
something that. Oh, go ahead.
pelvis from an opossum?
That's a good question, right? Like, what does this mean? So obviously it runs away. As soon as it's free, it leaves, which
Of
is
course.
indicative of, usually they play dead when they're scared, but that could be indicative of the fact that it had been there for 5 days.
Poor
Um,
freaking animal.
right, wrapped up in this bag and kind of concealed in this like foam padding that it couldn't really get out of.
That poor
Um,
thing.
yeah, horrible, absolutely. And like I said, unfortunately, 4chan again, big reason why you don't want to go on there. Animal torture is a huge thing there, huge thing.
Yeah.
It
It is not for the faint of heart, and I don't go on it if I don't have to.
No, I am 1,000% like totally fine with gore, and even like real life gore. Like, I've looked at all the
Yeah.
crime scene photos of things. When it comes to animals, I cannot, I can't.
No, same.
And I think a lot of people can relate.
Because
So
they're innocent. They
right,
don't they know no better, and they're just they they don't have the ability to give consent or to, give an opinion on something.
yeah. Well, people really, I
Animal
mean,
torture is wrong, y'all.
they don't usually consent to being killed and
Well,
mutilated,
of
but
course
I
not,
don't,
but
for whatever reason, I'm desensitized to that. I don't know if it's
yeah.
because I grew up in the time of rotten.com or I don't know. I don't know. Just I can't deal, and it's tough. So, again, cannot stress enough. Just stay away from 4chan.
Yeah, just stay away from 4chan.
We'll tell
Blanket
you all the
level,
bad
stay away
stuff.
from 4chan. We
Right.
will we will look for you.
Right. We'll tell right. We'll tell the stories here. But anyway, so this is getting disturbing. Alex is, again, just documenting everything. So now he's found a live tortured animal, he's finding remains of something, the hard drive, what's on the hard drive, who knows. But he starts hearing things outside. And, maybe sometimes the things that he is hearing outside are just regular traffic.
Yep.
You know, maybe it's just, and that's kind of what he's saying. He'll be like, "Oh, there's a car. I heard a car go by. I heard some noises." He's not really too concerned, but this escalates,
It does.
and now all of a sudden, you probably have the quote that he said about what is happening.
I
Uh,
mean, the quote that I have is, I hear someone outside driving really slow over the gravel. I think it's time for my date.
yeah,
That's what I have.
which is like super casual when you're talking
Yeah.
about what you're talking about. you know.
Right?
So, people are like, dude, you gotta get out of there. Well, there's only one door in and out. But then Alex notices what he believes is a window, takes a picture of it, shows everybody on 4chan. Is like, I'm gonna hop out this window, climbs up to it. It's not a window, it's a vent. Um, so it's not an exit. So then, he tells 4chan, listen, I'm just gonna go for the door. I'm just gonna leave. And that's it. We don't hear from Alex ever again.
Nope.
Never.
Nothing else.
Ever. 11
Never
years
pops up
later.
again. And yeah, this is,
Never.
yeah.
Um,
Ah, according to the
so
National
yeah,
Missing Persons database, there's 0 cases of someone named Alex going missing from Elizabethton from 2013 to 2014. There are no homicide cases involving an Alex during that time. Um, the Alex from 4chan could have been using a false name, but I don't see any evidence that could lead us to believe that that's the case.
yeah,
Um,
I agree with that. I'd agree with that. But
I
well, who knows? I mean, if he was posting I guess a lot of people have alt accounts, you know?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, God, for me, the thing that really kind of rubs me the wrong way is how, if you're checking out something that looks really creepy, how do you have enough gall to be posting and showing things on a thread?
Right.
I know for myself personally, I'd be too engrossed in finding things and freaking out than I don't think I'd be able to do that at
Well,
all.
and right, and like, okay, so he's obviously like he's got a phone on him, right? Like he's
Right.
got some type of point of contact. First of all, why in the fuck would you go by yourself? Why?
Yeah. Why didn't you bring somebody or multiple people with you?
Right. You know, what happened here? Now, I mean, another idea that I kind of have is that okay, I won't get there yet. I'll wait. You know, right. Why wouldn't you at least take someone with you? And then as soon as you find something like a mummified pelvis, why wouldn't you call the police?
Right? My first thought would be call 911.
Right, I'm gonna call the police. If it were just me and for whatever reason I made the decision to go by myself to somewhere that some stranger on the internet has led me, I would probably like take one look, like I'd open the door, take a look around, and I'd be like, nah, and I'd leave.
And I'd call the police and I'd be like,
Right.
"Hey, okay, this is you guys need to go check this place."
Right. You need to there's something weird going on here. You know, and like, you know, my thought is like I said, Reddit can be a very dark, horrible place with the not Reddit, 4chan.
I
um
mean, Reddit can be pretty horrible too, but not as
yeah,
horrible as
no.
this.
Not as close, not nearly as close. Reddit is like the softcore version of 4chan. So it you know, 4chan, there are bad people on there. However, they have been known to call the police if they feel like they need to. And my thought process is after OP started getting really weird, like after like the mummified hand was posted, probably some people did call the police and be I mean they had exact coordinates, right?
Yeah.
They probably did. And so the police had probably already been out there to check out that spot. So that kind of what I'm getting at here is that there's a lot of people, most people believe that this whole thing is made up. And that is kind of
Yeah.
evidence to that, right? That creepy guy wouldn't be hanging out in this area because, yeah, somebody was going to call the police. For 5 days, you're going to trust that the internet's not going to call the police on you?
Yeah, the fact that, I mean, if you look at the posts on the thread, he was averaging about 1.5 minutes between each of his posts.
Right.
So if you factor in the time that it took for him to take the photos and type out the captions, he would have been basically on his phone during the entire like critical time where his life could have been in danger. Which, you couple that with the smug comment of "I think it's time for my date" in response to a car pulling up outside.
Right.
It doesn't paint a realistic scenario.
Right, like, you really have the time to, like, come up with something like that? Like, you're gonna die, and, like, that's what you come up with?
Yeah.
Like,
It
really?
it seems more likely that Alex had the photos on hand and was posting them from a desktop.
Right, Alex is creepy guy. Alex
Right.
made the original post to kind of lead it on, and so, it's not like I don't have my own issues with that scenario, I do, because that's putting a lot of trust into 4chan that nobody is going to go out there
Right.
and be like, "It's nothing," you know? But then again, I guess you just kind of give up your joke and like that's it. It stops there. Somebody went out there, they found nothing, and that was that. Or maybe he did put something out there. Who knows? Maybe it was not as gross. You know, I don't know. Because he didn't actually like he didn't get photos of like the opossum. You know, it's alive. He didn't take a photo of it because it ran
Right.
out. You know, he did take a photo of like the rolled up mat, but like it didn't look like it had been soiled or anything. Like it looked, you know, it was in like a dingy area, but it looked pretty clean considering a live animal was in it for 5 days. You know, that's
Yeah.
the implication. Um, which again, if creepy guy's real, maybe he put the animal in there a couple hours before. You know, who knows? Just as an added bonus prize. But I mean, he was kind of, you know, making it sound like that was kind of what you were supposed to find when you go there is something
Right.
alive. Um,
It
or
is warm.
recently alive. It's warm. I'm here with my friend. I left my friend behind, but maybe he left it there. I don't know. Um, it's an interesting story nonetheless, even if it is fake. But it again, this isn't. I mean, this is par for the course for 4chan for them to do something like this.
Yeah.
It's very believable that they would that somebody would do this and just nothing ever comes from it because maybe Alex is dead. Not very smart. It's not a smart way to lure your victims, but maybe it is because it's not like, there's never been a police report of, oh, well, this guy was arrested because he lured somebody off of 4chan.
Yeah.
If
I
it's real.
it if it's real. I personally think that this may have been to get attention. I think it was false. In 2018, a YouTuber named Noah posted a video titled "Going to the Coordinates" from uh, Alex from Tennessee 4chan post, and he documents his findings at the location. He does actually go. There wasn't much to be found in the area aside from like clothes and belongings of unhoused people. There wasn't a bag with a mummified pelvis, like
Right.
none of the stuff that they say was there, but again, this is 2018.
Right. 5 years
Um,
later. Yeah.
I went and I checked that uh, that Reddit post because it was a Reddit post, and the video that they linked to is unavailable now, so you can't even watch it.
Oh,
And I was like, ah, darn,
super
because I would have
disappointing.
I would have watched it. Um, then another person actually went and loaded some of the files into Imager and tried to figure out a few things. And after a whole, he's got this long post. This was a post 11 years ago. Um, After this long post about all of the different things that he did to figure out what kind of cameras were used,
Okay.
he says all the photos by OP are from one camera, probably an iPhone 4. Some appear to be cropped or edited. All the photos by Alex are from a different camera with a different aspect ratio. They do not appear to be cropped or edited, could have been uploaded directly from phone. His final conclusion was that Alex's story stands up and could be true.
Interesting. I was wondering about that because they can do that type of thing. Look at the origins of a photo and see, kind of where it came from. Because, like you said, some people had speculated because Alex was posting so quickly that he was at home on a desktop, you know. But it sounds like that. Well, that doesn't necessarily say that he wasn't. I'm just curious, like why can't we track where he was posting from? And maybe it's just not really technology that we had at the time. Like now, like if you post anything on Twitter, it'll be like posted from my iPhone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Or
exactly.
posted from, my desktop or whatever, mobile. It'll tell you and 4chan I guess doesn't do that. Um that's interesting that they use two different. Now, but what if this person is, I mean, a frequent 4channer, right? They're a frequent 4chan user and they know that they're going to check this information. So therefore they use two different, I mean, they were ahead of the game. They use two different types of cameras. That's not unheard of.
It's not, but are we but do we think that the OP is smart enough to think of all of those different aspects?
Hmm, maybe. I don't know. I don't know the OP. Um,
Ooh, also on apparently at some point on 4chan, there was a possible creepy original poster confession, and I went and I clicked on the link,
oh,
and it's a 404
oh no.
invalid thread, and I'm like,
That sucks. But I would think that, I mean, if people thought that that was a thing, like if people thought that that was canon, then it would be somewhere else on the internet.
yeah, that's what I think, but it's just like one of those things that if you see it, you gotta check it out.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, see where did that come from? Is that but maybe him? Yeah, I wonder if there were like photos. I know that like where the area is located checks out with what Alex and creepy guy were both kind of explaining or taking photos of. Like there was an abandoned building at this property, and you know, is it accessible? Sure, maybe. Dirt floors? Maybe. It depends on what kind of
Maybe.
building it is.
Yeah.
That could be. That building is not there now, so they have torn it down since then. Probably not related to this at all, but it has been torn down. I mean, in my heart of hearts, I feel like that this is likely just a wild goose chase, a made up story, something creepy on the internet. Because those are a dime a dozen. We have a lot of those. But until someone comes forward and says, yes, it was me. I was Alex. I was OP, or me and my friend. We did this, because it could be that too. It could be two guys, you know. We're assuming guys. I guess Alex could be a girl's name, but it could be two buddies, right? They planned this whole thing. OP was one person and Alex was another person, and that's where like, well, is OP smart enough to think about the different cameras? Well, what if it's a different person entirely? It could be two people in
Right.
on it. Um, just some people out having fun, and they thought they found this abandoned building and thought that they could do something like an ARG with it, and make it seem like it's worse than it was. I don't know. Do you think that there's a dead Alex out there in the world that nobody's
I think
found?
it's I think it's possible. I mean, I definitely can't say that there's, no there I can't say that there's nothing and that this is all a hoax because I wasn't there. I don't know for sure. I do know that based on the area that they're talking about, it was actually an old rayon plant complex
Okay.
that burned down in 2000, and that's where they put the Walmart up. But the north building and the west buildings are still standing. And apparently, on top of everything else, the Bemberg factory, which is the rayon plant, is supposedly haunted.
Oh God.
So
Of
like
course it
take
is.
that with what you will. Um all of this information I'm finding on Reddit because of course people are talking about this on Reddit because it came from
Right.
4chan, and so they're like, yeah, we've got to talk about this on Reddit.
Yeah, that's what it's for. Reddit was made originally to just talk about 4chan. That's not true. At
Absolutely.
least I don't think that is.
I don't
Could
think
be
that was
though.
true, but I mean, let's be real, a lot of us talk about 4chan on Reddit.
Right. That's kind of the thing. That's what you do. Yeah, that's interesting. I did not realize that it was allegedly a haunted location. So maybe OP is a ghost?
Possibly.
It's like a Blair Witch? Um I really like that theory that OP is the Blair Witch
That's so crazy.
because she would lure people into her woods. I mean, that's what. And then in the movie, you had that old abandoned creepy house, and that's where he died. I mean, that makes sense. No, I don't know. This is a tough one. I mean, just because there were no people missing in that area or any homicide cases of somebody named Alex, we don't even know if Alex lives there.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
he just shows up and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to this place." We don't know where he's from.
right. We don't know where he's from, and the thing is, it's not like he posts a picture of his ID and is like, "Yeah, this is me. This is my address. This is
Right.
where I'm from." It's all speculation at this point. I personally do not think that this is real.
I want to believe that this is not real because I am a good person and I don't want to think that this actually happened to somebody, right? And especially me dunking on them like, why the fuck would you go by yourself? You're stupid.
Yeah.
If it is a real person and they did,
But still, if
you
it is
harm.
real, why would you go by yourself?
Right, why would you go by yourself, dude? Like, that's classic. Like, have you seen any horror movie ever? Like,
Right?
you're not supposed to
Don't go
go
into the
alone.
woods by yourself.
Right, you just
Always
don't.
bring a friend.
Always. And
Never split up the
some
party.
right, some type of self-defense, something, anything, is better than nothing, That's a little crazy. So it's like, if this was real, like, what are we looking at? Are we looking at a serial killer? Are we looking I mean, what's the deal with the hard drive? Like, there's a lot of unanswered questions, even if it's fake. Like, what?
Yeah,
Where
I
was
want to
that?
know what was on that hard drive.
Like, what's that story arc about? I don't.
We will never know, and that is the most frustrating part is we will never know what was on the hard drive.
Never. Right. I mean, it was there. Like, they wanted it
Who knows? It could
shown.
have been empty.
Oh God, that would make me so mad.
I would have been so angry.
You know what? Because it's like, okay, so let's go off the assumption that it's fake because that's where we're at. We'll say it's one person acting alone and they've made all this up for whatever reason. People do that on the internet. Again, what was the story arc with the hard drive? Were they going to come back later on and be like, "Hey, I'm creepy guy, and this is what's on my hard drive"? Like what? Like, and then it's just more weird pictures of nondescript, potentially rotting, potentially petrified body parts. I mean, what?
Yeah, I don't know. It's that's like I said, that's the frustrating part. We don't know what it is. We don't know what happened. We just know what we're told from a thread on 4chan.
Right. Because even like the responses of the OP when he made the post or they made the post, whatever. It's not even like a good story. Like the stuff that they're saying in response aren't. I mean, it's just cringy troll stuff. Like it's
It
not even.
is.
It doesn't even make any sense half the time. It's
Little one fly away. Like what?
like, what does that mean? Yeah, what are you
Was
talking
there a
about?
bird? Like
Do you own birds? I don't. Is there a fly? I right. What is he talking? An airplane? It's not little, but I
like
mean,
like what is it?
yeah. So I mean, even like it's not clever. So
No.
the story as a whole, if it's fake, is clever. But the details to it like are not. Like it's just like, okay, it sounds like somebody purposefully trying to sound crazy,
I think so.
instead of somebody legitimately being crazy. I feel like anyway. Of course, I've never met anybody like that before. So
What? So I'm still looking things up
okay.
as we're talking because of course I am. Apparently in the original thread someone mentioned there was a news report about a murder suicide at the same location. But
So
and they
yeah, I
posted a
saw that.
link and the page isn't found.
So if you read into it, so the more you read into it, it was a husband and wife, and it was not at that location specifically. It was like right down the street, one of the houses.
Yeah.
But you know, husband and wife, well, not necessarily. Again, we don't know if the OP or even Alex is male or female.
Nope, we have no idea.
You know, um, Now them being a married couple, I guess, would be a little different, because, like, clearly the police would know that they're married, and it sounds like this was a married couple, so they knew each other. So, like, the chances of like these two people randomly meeting and not having the attention to do so, and happen to know each other as well, are pretty low, um, but not zero,
No, not zero.
not
But I
zero.
mean, honestly, the moral of the story to this is don't believe everything you see on 4chan.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
don't go on 4chan.
Yeah, they just don't go there, right? Just
Just
don't
don't go
even.
there.
Don't even get on 4chan. Especially do not go to a place that a 4chan user tells you to go.
Yeah,
Ever.
definitely don't do that. I honestly don't go to a place that somebody on a message thread tells you to
Don't do that.
go
Yeah, don't do that. Don't. Just call the
unless
police.
you have a bunch of valid like sources and resources to back up the claim that it's an okay place to go. Like
Yeah.
if you're going to a restaurant that someone tells you to go to, that's fine. Don't go to some random coordinates, okay?
Yeah. Don't try to encounter purposefully crazy people on the internet. Like that's not smart. That's not a good move. And if for whatever reason you fucking can't help yourself and you have to go, don't go alone and don't go unarmed.
Bring some sort of weapon.
Like, this is common sense. It should be common sense, but clearly it's not because there are people that still believe that this could have potentially happened. And guess what? It still could have potentially happened. We don't know. We don't know. But there are, I mean, again, like I said, this is par for the course. 4chan does have stuff like this actually happen. um, there have been people that, mass shooters, or, people that are like, I'm going to kill my neighbor. And then they do kill their neighbor and then they post pictures of them. This happens a lot. This is why
Especially on 4chan. This is why you shouldn't go on 4chan.
right. And, we will talk about some more of those stories, as the series goes on. But yeah, that's why you just shouldn't engage. I mean, sure, jump on the message. If you really want to get there, jump on the message boards. Just know that, sometimes when you come across something, you can't undo seeing it. You can't not see it.
Yeah.
And,
And
that,
there is some haunting stuff on there.
yeah, exactly. And, you just have to be mindful about your internet browsing. I think that probably most people that listen to this show, you're probably familiar with that type of stuff anyway. But, people that are just now getting into it, maybe you thought this was interesting. Maybe you got curious because of some of the other shows here that we do. This is different. I mean, this will, it has the potential to change you, become very traumatizing, um, things like that. So, just watch out for that stuff for sure. Um, any other closing remarks on Alex from 4chan?
Honestly, no. I think I think at this point we have beat the dead horse as much as we could. Like I said, it's probably something fake, but we don't know that for sure.
I hope I want it to be fake. If it's not fake, I hope Alex is all right and he just got
Yeah.
into a scuffle with the creepy person,
And maybe
lived.
he decided not to go back on 4chan.
Right. He learned his lesson about 4chan. So, that's my hope. If anything new ever comes out of this, I'll be more than happy to come back here and report it.
Oh yeah.
Um, you
Sudden
know,
updates 11 years later.
yep. Who knows? Maybe this will be the show that gets it back into the public eye and somebody finds something out. Who knows?
Oh, that'd be
Um,
crazy.
that would be really neat. So again, if there's any new updates, we'll let you know. But I mean, until then, this is very much an internet mystery, and we're just gonna have to, now that go the rest of your life not knowing. So there's that. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you back here on the next episode.